Well, I think that the two words consistency and value are synonymous with Australian Shiraz. We were astonished by how good some of the less expensive wines were, and overall, irrespective of price, there was enormous consistency of quality and just an extraordinarily steady line of quality through all the wines. There were very few low points, some high points, but the general average quality was right up there. It was really an interesting tasting from that point of view. The other thing that I think underpins that consistency is there's been a real change of style in recent years with Australian Shiraz, where maybe a decade ago you'd see a lot of wines that were driven by oak. So there was a lot of that vanilla, sometimes a sort of coconutty character, which was like a confectionery character that overlaid the fruit character of the wine. Now the oak has been toned right down, and so there were just a handful of wines that had really strong perceptible oak. A decade ago there would have been probably about half of them, and that's a good thing because the wines are more moderate, easier to drink, less confronting, better at the table, better with food. It was extraordinary for us when we finished the tasting and we looked at where the wine stood in terms of price, and we found that 6 of our top 10 wines were under $25, which means that a glass of good Australian Shiraz isn't inaccessible. And there are very few wines in the world that you can say that about, where the absolute best, a taste of the best, is priced so low. The top wine of the tasting was Pepper Jack Shiraz, which is a Barossa Shiraz. It came in at under $20 a bottle. Once again, reinforcing what we were saying before about value. You don't have to pay a lot to get really good Australian Shiraz. This wine comes from the area of the Barossa where it starts to climb up towards the hills of Eden Valley and so forth, up near Anguston. And generally the wines from there are a bit better balanced than the wines from the right down in the valley floor. It's maybe a little bit cooler. So the wine was really beautifully balanced. It also comes from the Saltram, the old Saltram property, which was a source of fantastic Shiraz 30, 40 years ago. So it's nice to see a wine like that get up because it links tradition, Australian Shiraz tradition, Australian vineyard tradition, with a much more contemporary style of wine. And it's a winner from all points of view, from every perspective. Traditionally, with Australian Shiraz, one thinks of those very hearty dishes like slow braised meats and sort of charry meats off the barbecue or something like this. But this wine is really a great all-rounder, and it can match dishes of sort of weight and substance just as readily as something as simple as, say, a pizza.